I'm here with Bayden Barber, who is the executive chair of Ngāti Kahungunu Iwi Incorporated. Kia ora, Bayden, how are you?
I'm good, Andrew. Very well.
Good. Bayden, thanks for joining me. You've had quite a busy week. I mean, obviously it's in the wake of the elections as well. Just looking back, how do you feel the elections went? Were you surprised, particularly in the Māori electorates, because we almost had a clean sweep for Te Pāti Māori, winning 6 of the 7 seats with only our electorate, Ikara Rafiti, remaining with Labour. What's your take on what happened and why?
Yeah, I think they're quite a big surprise, especially with some of the incumbents that were toppled from the Labour, senior caucus members, ministers that were dethroned by the Māori Party candidate. So I guess it's a sign of the times, really, frustrations around a number of things. But it was surprising because, with the Māori caucus and the Labour Party had supported a number of kaupapa, which were, good kaupapa, such as iwi housing and other things. But yeah, I guess the appetite with the Labour Party had run its course, and you saw some big upsets, and all of them were upsets. In my mind. But yeah, if you can mobilise the rangatahi vote, which is what they did well in those electorates, well, it's a big part. The young voter or the young population, Māori population, is where the bulk of our population is. So if you can mobilise them, well, then you're going to get success. And when they're around the Ikoro Rāwhiti, I mean, that was the seat touted to be a sure kind of a sure seat for Mecca, but I don't think it was ever a sure seat because the way that went down, coming across from the Labour Party, I don't think that resonated well with a lot of the voters, and it showed. But yeah, it's certainly a Labour stronghold, and we saw that with every other seat falling to the Māori Party. But it's exciting. It's exciting. They'll be a strong voice in opposition, and they'll need to be a strong voice because the National Act, New Zealand First, pre-election, some of the rhetoric that were coming out of those parties, a cause for concern for Tiwi Māori, and yeah, we just have to see how that plays out. But we will be voicing our opposition to a referendum on the treaty. First off, there's no place for doing such things. The treaty is there to unite Aotearoa. It's not there to separate, and that's where people get it wrong. So
you've been down at the Iwi Leaders Forum in Christchurch this week, and obviously that was a topic of discussion because, as you said, ACT and I think New Zealand First are particularly keen on getting this referendum on the treaty. What is it that is so abhorrent about it to you and the other iwi leaders about having a referendum?
Well, it's not just abhorrent to us as iwi. It should be abhorrent to people generally in Aotearoa. I mean, it's our founding document. It's the document that sets out the relationship between tangata whenua and the Queen and her people, and my ancestor signed that, so I'm a direct descendant of one who saw the potential of having such an agreement between the peoples to work together for all of our futures. So yeah, I don't see it happening. I think the National Party is too I don't think they'd go there. But these guys, they campaigned on such rhetoric, and they'll be looking to see something put in place. But iwi Māori just have no appetite for that type of rhetoric, narrative. But we did say to the National Party, hey, Māori have achieved when national governments have been in power. The Kohanga Reo movement came through a national government. Some of the changes in Te Reo, whānau ora, the list goes on. And so what are the opportunities to continue to work together, to continue to achieve, to support Māori outcomes, not just Māori, if we can get our Māori community stronger, that's good for everyone. That's good for the whole of Aotearoa. So, I think whilst there is some apprehension around potential politicking, we certainly are focused on the opportunities.
So did Christopher Luxon meet with you with the forum?
He didn't. He was tied up in negotiations with ACT New Zealand First. He did send his apologies, and he sent about 6 of his MPs along to represent the National Party.
And who was leading that delegation?
Shane Reti. And then you had Tama Potaka, Louise Upston, and the other 2, I can't remember. I don't know them. Yeah.
And so what was the message that the Iwi Leaders Forum said to them? You obviously voiced your opposition to any referendum, but did you indicate in any way what you would do if they went ahead with this?
No, we didn't actually make that a focal point of the discussions because, one, the Prime Minister wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the other 2 leaders weren't there. So we'll keep the powder dry, but that will come up at the treaty grounds at Waitangi. And so we'll prepare for there. The discussion yesterday was more about what we've achieved as iwi over the past, or however many years the Iwi Chiefs Forum has been going, with some of the momentum that we've gained with the last government, some of the aspirations that we want to continue, and I guess a tono to national. The Greens were there too, and the Māori Party. We had one from the Māori Party to the government that you have 80 iwi of the motu sitting around the table, looking for opportunities to work together. You would be wise to come to the forum and look at ways to work with iwi Māori. It's about moving forward together. So that was kind of the key message. We outlined some of the things that we've achieved, such as the housing prototypes, and we want to continue that. The freshwater space, looking to continue on some of the work that's been done in the environmental space, and also in the social space, education and health. So yeah, we're keen to look at how we can give Māori more empowerment to lift some of the outcomes that sadly are not too good when we're looking at talking health and education. And even the state of the environment. So, yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, and governments can't do that themselves. There's no government that can do that work. The governments are there to empower communities, and the Māori community is saying, okay, here we are. We have resource, we have people, and we can work together with you with what you can do and get better outcomes for all. So, yeah, it was good. It was a good meeting. Just an introductory meeting, just still waiting to hear how the government's going to be formed, what that's going to look like. So I think the meeting at Waitangi, which is our next iwi Chiefs Forum, that'll be the biggie.
Yeah. So the one thing that National was quite strong on before the elections was co-governments, and they didn't see a space for co-governments in the public sort of arena kind of thing. Was that touched on, and do you think there is still opportunities with this national-led government to explore and expand the role of co-governance?
We didn't jump into co-governance. That probably will come up at Waitangi, but the treaty did come up, and like I said, it's our founding document. We as iwi Māori are here because, we're here with everyone else because our ancestors thought that was a good idea, to sit down and to have an agreement with the Queen at the time, and to pave a way forward for our country. And so if I think about co-governance, well, yeah, it's a similar thing. The aspirations of Māori can't be blurred into the background. And we have, you know, and if I look at the election, we have a younger, educated, population that can speak te reo, that can articulate themselves in Te Ao Pākehā as well. And co-governance isn't something to be feared. It's something to help support and empower a key part of our community, which is the Māori community. So, yeah, we'll be continuing to talk that way. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how it all kind of plays out with the government. But that will be our kōrero. Co-governance isn't something to be feared. We need to take that opportunity and use it to pave a way forward for our country.